Hello and welcome to Rockin' Art 58. Today we're going to paint this snowman light bulb. It's an ornament for the tree. You can do so many different things with it. I'll give you ideas throughout the video. The supplies you're going to need are here and listed in the down arrow button below this video. There's scissors and felt, embellishments for the hat and ribbon. Thin ribbon works best. You can have these different colors of paints in any color that you want. Elmers Glue, glitter, hot glue gun, paintbrushes. There's a few different sizes you'll need. My light bulb is spray painted with a paint and primer flat white Rustoleum. Cost about $3.50 at Home Depot. I have it taped with painter's tape, and that way I can hold it by the tape and hang it on a shelf to dry. We're going to start with black paint, and I'm going to be using a 10-0 liner to do this. And we're going to start making two eyes. They're kind of like a half of an oval. You can make them round, you can make them square, you can make them almost any shape you want. Just make sure they're both about the same size. These kind of eyes give them a little bit of a sparkle when they're finished. Now I'm using an orange flame. You can use any orange. That's going to make a good carrot for his nose. Start right on the edge of the eye and then go right to the inside of the next eye, and that's a perfect place for this nose. It's pretty easy. In the mouth, I start just underneath the tip of his nose, a little bit over farther. And then I paint a bottom part of his mouth on there. And you can see that that's just the length of his nose. And then he has a little ornery grin going on. Here I'm using chocolate brown. This chocolate brown, this is going to be used to create a shadow on his nose. And you know, you can't see it very well here, but you'll see it throughout the video. So I paint a line underneath the carrot and on the back side of the carrot. And that makes it stand out a little bit. And then I'm going to put carrot lines on the nose, short ones and long ones. They're going to be various sizes, some from the top and some will be from the bottom. I'm sorry you can't see the paint, not at this point anyway. But you can see I'm taking my time just making tiny little lines. Still can't see it. Well, we're going to move on and put some eyelashes on the eyes. I use 3 eyelashes. I start halfway up the eye and curve them up a little bit and get shorter as I go along. I'm using a bright red. We're going to fill in the mouth with this bright red. Just fill in the whole thing. That looks pretty cute, doesn't he? Okay, so I have a little bit of paint on the light bulb right there. I'm getting a wet Q-tip and I'm just wiping it right off. And when you put the glitter on, little mistakes like that will totally disappear anyway. So I'm using a 10-0 liner here. I'm putting a big dot and then just swirling it down so he has little sparkle in his eyes. And I'm going to put a thin line on the top of his nose to highlight that carrot. Okay, I'm going to a dark green, and I'm going to use a number 3 round. And with this dark green, I'm going to paint in a square box underneath his mouth. This is going to be the present. It's going to take a couple coats, so put a little coat on, let it dry, come back and you put another coat on. Back to the 10-0 liner. I'm going to start with that chocolate brown. I'm going to pull from the edge. It's going to be level with his nose. You're going to pull a line down and then add another line to it. And these are going to be his stick arms. See how it kind of curves, and then I add another line to it. And it has a little joint poking out. Kind of looks like his elbow. While those are drying, I'm going to repaint the green. Going back to the thin liner. I'm going to put tiny little eyebrows above his eyes. They're on the outside edge of the eyes, and they kind of curve up. That gives him a happy disposition. You can just barely see the lines on his nose there. I'm going to go ahead and use this metallic gold and make a ribbon on this box. So I put it going up and down and across. I put it on kind of thick. And here I'm putting in the bow. Just making 2 circles at the top and a big ball in the middle. That's where the bow is tied together. And I like to put ribbons hanging down. And I have to let that dry, and then I'm going to go back and paint his stick fingers. So he's got 3 on each hand. The first one's a thumb and goes underneath the box, and the next 2 go on top of the box, like they're holding it. So underneath the box and on top of the box. And these don't stand out very good on the box, so I'm going to put a little bit of a lighter brown by adding some white to that brown paint and put it on each of the pieces of his arm and his fingers, and then that light will help it stand out on the box. That video went a little bit fast. I hope you can keep up with that. And he's a pretty happy little guy. I was doing an assembly line. I had 20 of them ready to go. Here they are. And see how I have them taped to the shelf? That way the paints can dry and I can take them down and paint each one individually, and then those paints can dry until we take this tape off. I have my pan that's for pouring the glitter and my Elmers Glue here. And I'm going to coat this light bulb with a good layer of glue. You want it a little bit thick. I got this glitter years ago. It's just plain old chunky glitter. Pouring on the paint. And I'm using a brush to spread it around. And don't let the brush make it too thin. If it's really thin, add a little bit more. I'm using that spoon and I'm just pouring the glitter onto the light bulb. It's kind of fun, isn't it? I'm tapping the glitter down into the glue with my hands. And yes, I have to go wash my hands when I'm done. But look at the sparkle. Now we're going to use a piece of felt. So I got a standard piece of felt and cut it 4.5 inches by 4 inches, and it's actually just a little bit less, so I could get 3 hats out of this. Getting my hot glue gun, put one line across one end, and I'm going to fold it up once. Make sure it's glued down, and now I'm putting glue on top of that and folding it up one more time. And please be careful because that glue does burn. So you're going to put the folded side down, find the back of the light bulb, and make sure that this is going to fit all the way around. Sometimes if it's a little bit small, you can see me right there, I'm stretching the felt a little bit to make it fit. You want them to just meet on the edges. You don't want to overlap if you can help it, and you don't want to leave a gap either. If it's too long, I trim it at the end. If it's not long enough, I stretch it around. And I just glue it all the way around, making sure it's going to fit. And glue all the way up to the edge. Now that I know everything's fitting good, I'm going to glue that down really good. See how nicely that fit? The ribbons, you're going to need 2. One is an 8-inch, one is a 10-inch. That's what I used. I usually try to contrast or actually match the present. So if I have a blue present, I'll use blue ribbon. If it's green, I'll use green. I'm going to put this one, the 8-inch ribbon, into a loop. I'm going to glue the ends together because that will help me ensure that I don't get a twist in it. And then I'm going to open up the back of the felt And I'm actually going to glue this onto the top of the light bulb, and this will be your hanger, and it's going to be super secure because you'll also be tying it down with ribbon. So that's going to go right there. Opening it up, putting the glue in place. I want it to be in the back of the snowman, and I'm just attaching it. I love hot glue, it dries so fast. Okay. Now I'm getting the longer ribbon, the 10-inch one. I'm going to wrap it around. I normally put the bow a little bit to one of the sides instead of straight in the middle, but it doesn't matter. You can put that bow anywhere and it looks cute as can be. So after I tie it in a knot the first time, I tie a little bow, and it comes out a little big, so I pull down on the outside strings and then tighten the bow into place. Usually after 2 times it's right where I want it. I'm going to take these ribbons that are hanging down and actually glue them into place. I want them to be coming down in front of his hat. So just a dot of glue towards the top, and then I pull it down. And now I'm going to do the other one the same way. Trim off the ribbons to as long as you want them to be. And now he needs an embellishment on the top. I like to use the little fuzzy balls that have a little bit of sparkle in them. Sometimes just the plain smooth ones. Sometimes a little bead. You can put a snowflake. You can put anything you want. There's so many different Christmas decorations. Now, I like the hat to be a little smaller, so I'm going to trim this down, and then I'm going to be done. Isn't he just cute as can be? If you like this video, hit the subscribe and the like button so you can see more as they get posted. Have a Merry Christmas. Enjoy your family and kids. Have a Happy New Year. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.